is when 621 first appeared. And then, you know, it got sprinkled out throughout these last few months. But, you know, it's my birthday. That's
Yay! So yes, June 21st. It was this past Saturday. It was Tyson's birthday.
If people put it together in the cold open, well, you know, where I make my miraculous return from being stuck in your
when you were separated out from my physical form
like
through dish harmonization.
Almost like a rebirth.
Oh my goodness.
And if people wondered, oh, why is the hatch time 621? It's because my birthday is June 21st.
That's because it's Tyson's birthday.
And coincidences? No. This was always a part of everything. And how
So we started to see the speculation about what's the significance of 6 hours 21 minutes. Just as soon as that cold open happened, and then we looked ahead on the calendar and went, well, the next Ethereal Islet is scheduled around that time. Why don't we make sure that this aligns properly?
Yes.
But for all of those of you who are theorizing endlessly about all of its special significances, I don't want to say that we fooled you, but we did play a little bit of a prank on y'all.
You did.
Yeah.
And just goes to show you, sometimes things have significance, sometimes they don't. This one has a little bit of both. It was an accident, but a happy one. So I guess.
Listen, I appreciate all the love that surrounded 621.
Yes.
I really appreciate it.
And it was in so many different spots there towards the end. There was lots of special significance. What is the significance? It was Tyson's birthday, so.
But it aligned
I think even Vention knows it's your birthday.
I know.
That's right.
They wrote it on their wall there.
Thank you,
in the video.
Yes,
Very
Vention picked up on the community's subspace transmissions there, and was trying to figure out what was going on. So,
big mystery solved.
Yes, thanks so much for revealing that information to us, Tyson. Now, get out of here.
Get out of here.
And also, like, if everyone thinks the 621 reveal is disappointing, you're just saying that my birthday is disappointing.
That's
and
right.
I don't appreciate
And
that.
why would you
How
say
rude.
that to Monster Handler Tyson?
birthday.
Got a little bit of a sneak peek of it a few weeks
yes.
out.
A bit of a surprise.
And we saw lots of commentary online of people going, someone's going to get disciplined. Someone's going to be in big doo-doo over this. And we just wanted to say, no. That's not actually how it happened. We work with our partners on the app stores, Apple and Google Play and Amazon and Samsung and all those partners. And they, in their excitement about Mech Islet, saw that we'd submitted a special sort of like highlight for this feature. We wanted to let My Singing Monsters players know about this upcoming update, timestamped for June 25th, and they looked at it and went, that looks so cool.
Awesome.
We're going to publish it today. And so then we looked at it and we went, well, dang.
Maybe you shouldn't do that, guys.
That's right. So that while that was frustrating, Blinky Buddy there for Gob might be one of my new favorite costumes. It is, of course, a reference to the globe species' name during development. Before they were officially named globes, they were Blinky Buddies.
That's a cute name.
So why now? What's going on? What's with this design of Rare Squat? It looks rather alliaceous. It's just an adjective for onion-like. Well, it's because National Onion Day is this Friday, June 27th.
It's all a part of the plan.
It's all part of the plan, so check out. I believe
Is it equipped with an anchor?
Yes, drop anchor, if you will. I think it probably can, but I don't think that they've ever
Been
had
observed?
reason to. Right, it's never been observed, at least dropping anchor, but who knows, maybe that'd be something we'd be lucky enough to observe in a future trailer, or maybe there's some reason to do so in the future. I don't know. We'll have to see.
We'll see.
Right there in the name, islets, yes, are meant to be physically a lot smaller than islands, even though Zaroe the Colossal has figured out a way to get the instability of the Workshop Ethereals conquered in the mirror timeline. It's still, there is still instability there. There's still factors that need to be managed. So the ethereal islets, by necessity, have to be quite a bit smaller. Also, because Zaroe is sort of manifesting these things out of its own willpower and essence, there's a finite amount to that. There will eventually be 5 ethereal islets, right? We've still got, Shadow, Crystal, and Poison to follow this second of ethereal islets that released today, Mech Islet, and so don't want to spread itself too thin. Got to make sure that there's enough willpower and essence to power them. So they are on the conservative size. So are they the size? What size do ethereal islets have? Are they the size of a city or town? You know what? I don't even know if they're that big. I think they might even be a little bit smaller. It's the kind where if you stood at one end, you might be able to see the far end of it. Sort of like a very small island that you might have here in the human world.
Okay.
That would be my guesstimate.
Interesting.
But it's going to vary a little bit from islet to islet. Plasma islet, the sort of goopy form of it, maybe at times it's a little bit more extended, whereas mech islet we see
is more
a little
rigid.
bit more rigid, exactly. It's made out of sort of, tougher stuff.
Yeah, the plasma could sometimes maybe stretch a little bit if landscape to be not the same size all the time.
Nothing to suggest that it was Zephyr alone that made the Tweedle initially. I don't know where he came up with such an idea as that. It is a good theory. But labor.
Or labor? Does Warden Espert have anything to do with Doma?
Does
I don't
Dr. Warden Espert, the foremost monster handler in all of history, have anything to do with that sus organization, the Department of Monstrous Anomalies?
How dare
you,
I don't even
labor?
know.
How dare you? No, we're joking, of course. But no, they're separated by not a ton of time, but enough time that Dr. Warden Espert had sort of disappeared in the human plane of existence, and then it was some years later that Doma was founded. I believe, if my research is correct, that Doma was founded sometime in the early 20th century.
Yeah, for the Doma aficionados among you, you'll know that the inception of
the department
coincided somewhat with the Tunguska explosion and at the turn of the 20th century.
Oh my goodness.
Completely unrelated to,
but it coincides.
And coincides.
And
yes,
but it seems like every time that Doma is brought up, I enter like a fugue state or something. I don't know why.
So should we stop mentioning it? We don't want.
It's like making me zone out.
What's his name? Bert Bold?
Bort's coming out.
What's
Bort?
Bort! Yeah, that's
coming
Monster Handler Bort. We don't want Bort to make a surprise appearance. So stay with us, Ben. Stay with us.
But sorry, I think I cut you off.
No, not at all. Not at all. Just.
So they're separate.
They're
Doma and Doma never had any contact with each other.
Similar time frames of these things happening, completely unrelated.
Yes, Dr. Warden Espert active there, more so at the end of the 19th century. If the dossiers of information that we have collected about his life are to be believed, which we think they are.
And if the reports that Doma is publishing publicly are also to be believed.
Right. They could be, like I said, they're very sus. They're very sus. They're up to, I don't want to say no good, but they're up to only some good.
Something?
I would say.
Something.
Sneaky Doma. All right, what's next?
We got Jack Barb.
Why are the dense clouds that surround Fairy Island considered important enough to be a point of interest on the map?
Well, that's a great question, as Cactus Rival of Barb. And it's because they do not correspond to traditional weather pattern behavior that we would recognize here in the human world. Clouds typically tend to be impermanent, right? They form, they dissipate, they go away, they drift with the wind. These clouds have something special to them where they are permanently dense and permanently in that spot. It's like a perma fog, basically. And so that's why they're noteworthy. They're not just like, a weather pattern that was like, snapshotted in one moment. It's sort of like the storm that surrounds Weblin Island. There's a constant level of meteorological activity happening there that defies our human world understanding of how it works. And it's, dare I say, perhaps even a little magical. Those clouds. So that's why they are noted on the Monster World map. Your pointed question about the relationship between fire and electricity. Well, you have to remember that the associations and connections that we are used to experiencing here in the human world have special changes to them or totally different relationships in the monster world. So electricity being an element in the monster world that is closely associated with the notion of creation and the spark of life. You know, Colossals were using a variant form of electricity to bring monsters into being. It's what Galvana uses to power the Wubbox. It's what Wubbox uses to create the Wublins. So electricity is very, very important for that mode of creativity and of bringing things from the imagination into a physical, tangible form. Fire is what we like to think of as like an even older, more primordial form of power. Okay. When you think of, you know, the Big Clangor, that event that sort of kick-started the monster world. You know, Furnos is the eldest celestial. Right. And all of those things, they're connected to each other. So that's why in the monster world, fire and electricity are sort of two halves of the same sort of genesis, sort of very powerful element that can bring about other things. So that's the relationship between them. Hopefully that makes sense.
David?
Let's see. If the mirror dimension is now the mirror timeline, how do the natural monsters from the mirror timeline visit the main timeline's Gold Island?
Because the higher plane is already sort of a separate idea.
It's on another plane of existence.
The higher plane can almost be considered a sort of pan timeline, pan chronological state of being, plane of existence that I think, and this is just me theorizing here, but that can be accessed from multiple timelines. So recall that the higher plane was sort of discovered, accessed for the first time in the aftermath of the Dawn of Fire, when certain Colossals who were experiencing the upheaval and the tumult of the Cataclysm were like, man, will we if you will, will we ever experience this level of like peace, harmony, cooperation ever again? If it doesn't come to pass, we need to sort of be on the lookout for it. We can't wait for this to happen to us. We have to look for it. And so that's how the higher plane was discovered, and how monsters like how Colossals like Dulcitea sort of took advantage of it as like a special refuge from the mundanities and the trivialities of the regular dimension, of the main timeline of the monster world. That's the reason why it exists in the first place. So in terms of accessibility, it wouldn't surprise me that, like I said, multiple timelines can sort of access this one, you know, unified nirvana, heaven-like space where the monsters can feel, you know, full self-actualization and never be hungry again, and meet monsters that they wouldn't normally see. You know, sort of inter-habitat connections there. So that's sort of why I think that it could be accessible from multiple timelines.
Makes sense. We've visualized the map of the monster world, which is this torus shape in a two-dimensional space as a map on a table.
Right.
What we really need now is this a Cartesian map of the Celeste Viabreed in the market on their respective islands. No rares or epics on the ethereal islands yet, obviously. I don't know. I wonder when that's going to happen.
Yeah, that almost like that would be a major momentous thing. To
something big would have to change for that to happen.
But yes, look at all those fun mech weekend to check out a return to the Museum of Monster Art.
Yes.
Narrated the audio tour by preeminent monster art historian Jupiter Stitzel. So you'll want to tune in this weekend to see that video, to see some of the amazing pieces of artwork that hang in the gallery halls of the Museum of Monster Art, as well as the winners of one of our Creator Month costumes, in which artworks that were submitted to us now have a permanent canonical place in the Museum of Monster Art.
Thanks to generous